10 things you should not do to your cat. Cats make excellent companions, and in the same way, we must be good companions to them. This means that as their human guardians, it's necessary to know what your cat needs to be happy and what we should avoid to prevent causing them distress. It's important to understand your cat. For this reason, if you're interested in knowing 10 things you should not do to your cat, we invite you to continue watching this video, so you can learn how to better care for your four-legged friend. Not respecting basic animal welfare liberties. Adopting a cat requires assuming a great responsibility, one that we should be aware of well before making this decision. This responsibility that all pet owners have is to ensure the welfare of their pets. But, what do we mean by welfare? We refer to this concept when an animal has its 5 essential freedoms or basic needs met, so it can be as happy as it deserves. Free from thirst, hunger, and malnutrition. Free from discomfort. Free from pain and illness. Free to express themselves. Free from fear and stress. Not taking them to the veterinarian. Whether your cat appears to be well or you notice that it exhibits abnormal behaviors that make you suspect it may have a health problem, it's important to take your cat to the vet. In the first case, if you don't think your cat needs to go to the vet because it's healthy, you should still try to take it for an annual checkup as a preventive measure to ensure that its health status is correct and to keep its vaccination and deworming records up to date. If you have observed a sudden change in your cat's behavior, it's a clear sign that something is not right. As the owner, it's your responsibility to ensure your animal is free from pain and illness. Therefore, you should take it to be checked before its possible pathology progresses, causing unnecessary suffering to your little one. Not giving enough attention. Although it might seem obvious, another thing you should not do to a cat is not to spend enough time with it. Taking on the responsibility of living with a cat requires more than just providing food and protection. We mean that a cat is a social, playful animal that needs to exercise daily. For these reasons, it's necessary to dedicate time each day to your cat, whether to cuddle or play with it. Ultimately, spending quality time together during which it engages in various activities that stimulate it cognitively and physically is also part of the basic care of a cat. Otherwise, your cat will be bored and have a lot of pent-up energy, leading to an irritable mood, stress, and subsequently developing behavioral problems because their welfare needs are not being met. 4. Not respecting their boundaries. Often, pet guardians may annoy their cats unintentionally due to misunderstandings of their body language. For example, they might be overly affectionate to the point of overwhelming the cat, which sometimes expresses its annoyance by becoming angry and potentially causing harm. Other cats, however, are more tolerant and never scratch or bite their humans, but that does not mean they are not tired and asking to be left alone. Although it is sometimes inevitable not to tell your cat how much you love it, often the best way to show this is by respecting its boundaries, understanding when it is receptive to being petted and held, when it wants to play, or when it wants to be left in peace. 5. Declawing your cat. Declawing is a surgical procedure that involves amputating the last phalanx of the cat's toes, removing the bone and joint parts, nerves, and blood vessels that make up the cat's digits so that the cat does not have claws. This is done with the intention of preventing behaviors considered annoying, such as scratching and clawing objects. In other words, it is a cruel practice that does not allow the cat to be, effectively, a cat. Claws, as well as behaviors like scratching, clawing, and the ability to defend themselves, are essentially necessary for the feline's well-being. For this reason, educating your cat to redirect such behaviors to more appropriate elements, such as scratching posts or toys, is necessary to coexist without their natural behavior being a nuisance. However, canceling such behaviors through such an inhumane and unnecessary practice, which unfortunately is still allowed in several countries, has a significant negative physical and emotional impact, as it does not allow the cat to freely express itself as its body demands, generating a state of irreversible stress and anxiety that can lead to other behavioral problems, such as excessive meowing or aggression, among many others. Moreover, because the claws bear the cat's weight, they are necessary for walking. Therefore, as a result of this mutilation, the cat has to modify its posture to move. 6. Abandoning them. Unfortunately, many pets end up belonging to people who do not love them as they deserve. This happens because some owners do not realize the great responsibility of having a cat, and when they tire of it or think it is a nuisance, they end up abandoning it to its fate. This act is not something isolated, as the number of abandoned animals increases each day, and unfortunately, most do not end up having a happy ending, as many of these animals die from not knowing how to survive alone or, in the best case, end up in a shelter, which can barely meet all the needs of the animals they take in. 7. Not training them. education is an essential part for a pleasant coexistence with a feline, as this way your furry friend will not learn habits that may be a nuisance to you, such as biting and scratching furniture. In other words, these kinds of unwanted behaviors are due to not having taught the cat from a kitten to redirect behaviors, which it must perform to ensure its well-being, in an appropriate way. Cats are intelligent animals which, thanks to proper guidance and positive reinforcement, are capable of learning the rules of the home and behaving correctly. 8. Smoking around them. Clearly, smoking is not only a bad habit that affects people's health, but if a cat lives with a smoker in a closed space, this animal becomes a passive smoker just like everyone else living in the same home. Smoke is very harmful to your kitty's lungs, which will lead to serious health problems. Moreover, you must consider that cats need to groom themselves by licking their fur, which means that they ingest all the toxic particles that are released from the cigarette and adhere to their fur with their tongue. Therefore, smoking in their presence is another thing you should not do to a cat. 9. Treating them like a toy. In some homes, cats are adopted with the intention of them being distractions for the younger children in the household. That is, they allow the children to treat the cat as if it were a plush toy, without conveying the message that the cat is a living being that deserves respect and should not be treated like a toy. Obviously, there may not necessarily be any bad intention behind the children's actions. However, often they have fun making the cat feel bad, as we have explained before, because they are not aware that they are really causing physical or emotional harm, or they still do not understand the cat's body language. They do not know what it is communicating and, therefore, explaining to the children the importance of respecting animals, as well as adult supervision during play sessions, is necessary. Similarly, it is also important to ensure the safety of the children, as the cat might end up getting fed up and hurting them, and dressing them in annoying accessories. If we said that humanizing them is one of the things you should not do to your cat, dressing them in uncomfortable garments is too. There are increasingly more accessories and garments available in stores to dress your cat. However, before purchasing any of these items, you should consider how much your kitty will appreciate them, because if you insist on dressing your cat in uncomfortable or harmful elements, rest assured that they will not want these kinds of gifts. If you intend to buy an accessory for your cat, always make sure that it does not limit their mobility, allows them to groom themselves normally, and does not rub or cause any damage. Otherwise, your furry friend might develop skin problems or be unable to move properly. Lastly, if your cat has access to the garden, it is not advisable for them to wear anything, as they could get caught on something, like a branch or a fence, and get hurt. That's all for today. If you like our content, support us with your like and don't forget to hit the bell so you are informed every time we upload new content. What about you? Can you suggest any other practices we should avoid with our feline friends? Write us your opinion in the comments section. See you next time.